Okay, should be working. I have no way of hearing that because all my headphones are dead, but it's fine. Running a good weekend. Okay. So, hello, or good afternoon for you, right? Go lay down, Tails. Yeah, go lay down. Go lay down. Frank, hello. Good morning. Happy Monday. How's it going? Okay, so on Friday, we were working on developers.stream. We got the login to both Twitch and YouTube working fine. So let's open Spy Dashboard, close that down. So right now we're running Postgre. We've got two databases in there, one for the auth, one for the system. We have an API, a migration tool, which runs and does migrations when it starts up, and the management for Postgre so we can see the database. I also have it on top, so I use Datagrypt for database. And now the website. So the website is what we're working on today. We're going to work on the actual UI a little bit because, you know, it's not running great. So basically what we worked on the last couple of weeks is getting the Twitch and YouTube accounts linking working. So this involves, so this is, I'm going to have to go through the instructions. I'm going to have to document these a bit. This involves setting up an account for yourself in Twitch and in the Google Cloud, and setting it up so you can actually auth. So when you click, you know, link to Google, link to YouTube, link to Twitch, it works fine. Also, the login is using Twitch. So we're able to now link Twitch and YouTube accounts, which means that we have a record in a database. Let's go over to developers.stream here. And in here, we have channels, and we have our two channels for our two platforms right now, Twitch and YouTube. So the concept of this site is that you will be able to go here, search for, you know, C#, .NET, PHP, Kafka, everything, and we'll be able to find streamers who match what you're after. You control this, so you set this name, you set this blurb as it's termed, and you know that allows you to control your message a bit. So we're going to work on the tags today, get them in there. You can see the links are working, so if I click on that one, it'll take me to my Twitch. Click on that one, it'll take me to my YouTube, and there we go. So it's starting to come together. Again, the idea is that when you go to this site, you will log in, and I think we'll remove this eventually. This allows you to kind of test it as is, but you won't be able to link any accounts, etc. properly. Oh, you will be able to link accounts, but if you can't log into Twitch anyway, yeah. But then you can log in with Twitch as well. So, and we'll probably put the Google auth there as well, so you can log into those platforms. Well, log into using them. So there we go. Okay. So today, try and make this look a little bit better. I think we'll get rid of the screenshot example for right this second. That's a nice idea, but it would involve going and doing a little bit more work on the, you know, gathering a screenshot, gathering live streams, etc. Also, this name here is controlled because, again, on YouTube and Twitch, I use a different name, right? So TBD Gamer, as I've got it established on Twitch for a long time, on YouTube it would mean it would just not help. So there we go. And I was intended to make the YouTube channel about the development rather than anything to do with gaming. Whereas Twitch, I did intend to play games when I first started the account. Okay. So I did commit everything last week and I pushed everything up. That's just some formatting that I get committed in other things. If you have any questions, thoughts, opinions on this, if you even if it's you don't like the idea of this, I am more than happy to listen. I'm always open to comment. So I'm not using any control libraries right now. So this next part is going to be kind of challenging. Because it would be nice to be able to use a tags system. So the concept is that we have tags or labels. Do I want to do that? Do I want to predefine a list of labels and let people put them on? Or I want to let them define themselves? The idea there would be that if we, I mean, it's similar to Twitch, right? If you can select a pre-existing one, or you can create a new one yourself. So we'd see if it exists, and if it doesn't, we'd add it in. If not, we'd add one that exists by label. Okay, so yeah, okay. That's not too terrible. So streamers, again, these are now, I'd have to manually link these channels. I could set them up so that the channels link. So actually, let's do that. Let's do that. So we have Rambling Geek, generate UID, generate UID. It's not going to demonstrate well if I don't do something like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hard code these links to their channels so that we can see other cards that are there. Okay, so one line is number one. So let's add a row, streamer ID 1, platform ID 1, 1 line, true, state, how do I do it? Empty string. That's going to be awkward, isn't it? Can I insert an empty string? Oh, there you go. I don't know how I managed to do that one. Okay. Streamers. Rambling Geek. Three. One. Rambling Geek. So now what should happen is if I refresh here, we should see those other streamers, right? So One Line and Rambling Geek are there. Their Twitch is linked because, so the presence of a channel, a presence of a linked channel is what's dictating the the visibility, right? So if you only ever log into this platform, then that'll be it. You just log into the platform and set a name, and there'll be no value to it because you won't see anything. The idea is that you link your accounts. And again, linking the accounts is necessary to make sure that you are the streamer on those channels, right? Well, as best as can be. So now we've got 2 in there. Let's add Mojo. S 2, 1, Mojo forward. 2. Okay, that should now yield another one. There you go. Okay, so now we've got the test data to play with. Again, we validate those. So let's go start messing around with the layout. We'll get to the tags in a bit. So there's lots more to come for this site, right? So the idea of the tags, again, same way as Twitch, right? You go to the channel, the software development category, and you go and search for tags. But that doesn't allow you to find people on YouTube. That doesn't allow you to find other streamers. It's not stunning. And so by the idea of this is that we would be able to search for C# and limit all the C# developers in here, even if they're offline. Help discover some new developers there. Maybe we filter out things. So if you don't want to do game dev, you don't have to do game dev, right? But also to put a backing API to this so that when someone joins your channel as a streamer, if you have a bot running, you could also look up their name the first time they chatted and see if they are a streamer, and return this information, the tags and the name, etc., and the description. And if you feel that they are, like, I've got a few ideas on how to do this, but you could just immediately shout them out and use their text from this site as that. I do have the thought that a dashboard similar to how what's it called, featured chat used to work, where you would be able to highlight a chat message, but in this case have a dashboard that you could log into on developers.stream that would show you new channel members as they came in, and highlight that potentially, so you could actually say, okay, yeah, I want to shout this person out all the time or whatever. So you could store some settings there, but I have a long way before we get to that. So ultimately, right now, the idea would be that you can search and filter. We'll get to live streams, etc., later on, but the discoverability across platforms is what I like the idea of here. It is not. It's easier on Twitch than it is on even YouTube to promote. YouTube is a harder platform to get on. Darren, I think it's linked in the cards below. I am very bad at that part. But welcome in. Because I focus on application development on the stream, I oftentimes neglect things like dealing with a bot and dealing with stuff like that. Not through lack of wanting to, just through lack of time. So bots to do things like the shout outs for socials and stuff are stuff I often neglect. Cloud bot. YouTube should have been there. YouTube was disabled. There we go. But yeah, if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions as I'm going through, you're more than welcome to join in. You're more than welcome to ask questions. I am happy to stop what I'm doing and focus on other things. So let's get this working. So the way I'm thinking this should work is in the profile screen, account pages profile. Right now we have input blurb, input name. What I'm thinking is we want to capture an array of strings. Then when we update the profile, just pass the array of strings up there. Did I not make? I thought I made a user ID. I did. I think I made this all one thing. State. Get user ID. There you go. Yeah. Just making that more consistent. I created this extension method to do exactly what that did there. I obviously didn't copy and paste it to the third level, but yeah, let's go change that. Use extension method. Get user ID. Save profile. Okay, there we go. Right now, this is all on one branch. What I want to do is I want to get to a stable point where I'm comfortable that there is enough code in here that I can merge it to main. Say this is a piece of code you can download. There's enough instruction on how to get it set up for yourself if you want to do it that way. Is this even there? Let's see, Kafka. Let's do developers. I think Martin. So this project is open source. It is on the TB Friends repository. Reply. Everyone. Okay, there we go. So I should have that now. There you go. One line is much better at promoting it, but I'll do for now. Developers.stream is on the TBD Friends repo. Dota, good morning. Hope you had a great weekend. Nope, this is OSS. Liquid Sky is private. This OSS. I clicked into the stream before we went live and was confused. I did that on Friday. I think I did that with one line last week. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. This as the intention is to be a community platform, right? The community tool, right? I want the source to be completely open source there. What I will do is once I'm comfortable that it's working in a decent way for what I need and what I want to do, I will fork it to a private repo to tighten up those things and publish the actual website from, so I'm not publishing it from the public repo, but then I can push back changes if there are any, vice versa. So, good morning, all. So, yeah, the intention of this one is to be open source. So, I am not including any controls in this, which is going to give me a challenge for this next piece. I was a minute late because I got myself a cup of coffee delivered and some breakfast. So I was a minute late. I didn't have any coffee, and I didn't have any time to make coffee and do stream. So I could either take the first 15 minutes of stream and go and see if there was any beans left, grind it and get that done, or get coffee delivered with something to eat, which I didn't have either. So I am lazy, yes. I accidentally drank decaf at the start of the morning 2 days ago. Didn't understand why I had no oomph for too long. Canny, I'm running out of fun facts for this long amount of time. I guess that's funny too. Hello, TBD in chat. I'll be on a Great Eastern. Canny, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Okay. Brain. What am I going to do here control wise? So I don't want to end up writing our own control. It would be much easier to pull this in. But what control library do I pull in that's small enough and not opinionated enough that it's going to get in the way? Right now, this is using the essentially default template with few changes. Fine, now it looks like a paid shower. No. Progress is okay. We're starting off okay. So, if you didn't see this last week, I'll just briefly show it again for everyone that since joined. So, startup time is just. So, what I'm hoping to get done today, or at least progress made on today, is the tagging of your stream and some layout changes because obviously it's not stunning. So let's do that. Reload. There we go. There. So, come on, you can do it. There we go. So what I've just done is I've actually just manually linked the other three. So One Iron Mojo and Rambling Geek. I've manually linked them in here because it's not going to look good if I am the only source of data. So we got this working where we can now link the Twitch and YouTube accounts. Right. So once linked, we got that smoothed out, which was good. What we're going to do now is add a control in here for tags, right? Oh, goodness me. I like trackball mice, but if they get any sort of dirt in them, become nightmarish. So what we're going to do is I want to add an extra control here, right? We'll tighten up a lot of this later, but that's fine. Div class equals form floating. No, it's not floating, is it? Let's just do that for right a second. So I need a control that is going to provide me that tagging ability. So an array of values. Text. Just stop it. Stop fighting it. Tags. 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 And then we're going to end up with what do you like about that? Oh, because it's just the text field. Okay, it doesn't really matter. But either way, let's just make that string for right a second. Apply changes. No. Can I just restart that one piece? That would be awesome. I finally found this teensy tiny motivation to write documentation for the new Twitcher, and also found out that I really don't like to write documentation. I don't blame you. This is going to sound lazy, but I don't mean it lazy. I think that developers should not be the people who document the functionality. I think that they should be handed to people to go through the process and document it as someone who has no idea how the code works. I think it's much more valuable if someone who has not done it before documents it. That might come across as laziness. So again, the idea here is you do, C#, .NET, etc. I don't want to make it a string. That would be poor. I do want to make it either a multi-select or kind of show the tags as they're appearing down here, or in control. In control looks nicer. So, anybody got any go-to Blazor libraries that would be small enough that I do not have to pull in a lot of opinionated framework? I recognize like half the names of the manifesto now. Would be cool to have someone like that currently handed to an LLM and proofread it and rewrite it until I like it. But still, this is tedious and the hallucinations are sometimes funny. But also, the LLM found bugs in my code. So, yeah, that's funny. Almost every day I generate. You're not going to know. For documentation, you're not going to have a clue. But the thing is, you've got to tune whatever output you have, and I think as a basis to work off of, the LLM stuff isn't bad. I've done this for some stuff I've yet to produce, but I think the end result was, even though I did use the LLM, I used it more as a sounding board and less of a, tell me what to say. So I got it to put the things that I said into my words, into words that got some of the ideas out more coherently, and then I could rearrange that as necessary. So you just got to be careful because it can sound impersonal. That's the problem. No, I don't use it one-to-one. I need to rewrite a couple of things from it because it reads bad, but it's easier to rewrite stuff that's there than create it out the net. Yeah, exactly. Using it as the prompt, using it to give you the fluff that you need. And again, I think the developer who writes the code is the worst one to do the documentation, because you've made some of the shortcuts, etc. Okay, so let's go and see Blazor control libraries. I don't want to pull in anything too big. I just want nice, easy controls. 8 free and open source. Radzen, no, cost it. has a license attached to it now, doesn't it? Blazerize. Light Rads. Oh, so there's still a free Radzen. Okay. Deliver working software frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months with a preference to the shorter timescale. I never realized that's right into our principles. I thought we went over that a couple of months ago. I thought we were talking about that. Am I dreaming about that? Let's have a bit of conversation. A lot of teams don't do that. Blazered sounds almost the same as Blazerize, but it's completely different. Blazered is mainly developed by Chris Santi. Ah, here we go. This might actually be workable. If. Oh. Text editor. No. So rather than having one package for everything, this is exactly what I'm after, right? Rather than having one package for everything, unfortunately, we do not have that control. Okay. Matte Blazer, Mud Blazer. I wonder why the choice of putting Blazer in every single name. I mean, Radzen, Blazerize, Blazered, Matte Blazer, Mud Blazer, Blazer Components, Ant Design Blazer, Blazer Strap. Like, I wonder why it became. Is it like, hey, look, I'm using Blazer? At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. Yeah. Do you think they were just made up? Those weren't iterate. That's the Kaizen, right? Um, uh, it's possible they have UI libraries that target other UI frameworks. It's Blazor compatible. Yeah, I suppose there's no abbreviation. Like, if you see NG, it's Angular. Um, yeah, I suppose. I just wonder where. Find the retros being in there directly funny, just because most of my software dev career I didn't have them. I believe that retros are not done because it's it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to retrospect honestly, and developers will put them off. I, I've worked with so many developers that are like, what do we do that worked? Oh, what do we do that didn't work? Oh, sometimes like pulling teeth. So I changed my approach to being, if I'm a team lead, to be, we adapt often and retrospect when we adapt. So if we change something during the flow of things, we have to have a retrospective at the end because we want to change things. We want to change the way we're doing things. That's so weird. I've only ever had retros, and I've had retros and had no use for them. I actually talked to an agile coach. I was sat down and chatting with her and going through that, and I explained why I don't like them, and she was like, "Yeah, that's common." So I explained my approach to it, and she's like, "That's perfectly reasonable. That is more than reasonable way of approaching retros in organizations where you cannot get people to retrospect. Make sure that they are comfortable adapting, but if they adapt and change things the way things work, that they do retrospect." Blazered, Matt Blazer. I don't want to do something. Um, Okay. I don't want to pull in a full library. That's my problem. If I can avoid a full library, I'm not pulling. These are all the Ant Design is Blazered, Blazer Eyes. I thought is if I pull in a full library, then I'm going to mess around with styling and whatnot. Yeah. Make UI building our problem, not yours. Oh, pricing. And if I pull in a library that has a license attached, I force anyone checking this out to have a license. That's not really what I want to do. I do not want to mess around trying to build. I mean, I realize that if I pull in a library, I'm going to pull in a license. What I mean is, I don't. That community license means activating a license and having that installed, which means I then have anyone who checks out the library has to go and register that and enter that key. Having an open source license is a little different. Getting started. .NET add Ant Design. Ant Design and Blaze. Getting a little concerned by the fact, am I actually seeing Ant Design here? Components, there you go. Drop down. This looks like it might be. I was at Ant Design like 5 years ago and didn't like it for what it's worth. Well, I'm open to suggestions on other options for a control that allows me to do what I'm trying to do. That doesn't involve me signing up for anything. If I have to sign up for something, I don't want to do it because I don't want to force that onto anyone checking the library out. Later on, if I decide to fork this and build this out myself, then I can change the controls. Are you looking for a CSS framework or something like mobile? I'm looking for a control. I want a control to provide a simpler tag system. I don't want to make the control if I can avoid it because I do not want to get bogged down in that. So pills, or is that the equivalent? I know they call it different things. That's why. I don't think this has it. There's all sorts of different names for this control. I'm pretty certain. Not segmented. Tag. Yeah, there you go. Tags. I mean, it looks like Bootstrap. Right, but not. I don't. Daisy UI, Tailwind CSS components. I don't have Tailwind installed. I have Blazor. I have Bootstrap, and Shad CN is, yeah. I'd still have to build all that stuff out. Yeah. So that's not. If Ant Design is just include the NuGet package and I can add this control, then it should be okay. Usage of basic, but that's just tags. That's not really. Add and remove dynamically a new tag. There you go. That's more what I want. Yes. Tailwind is more of the market for CSS from at the moment, although I doubt Bootstrap is going anywhere. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not fighting the defaults, right? I'm just there's a time and a place for that, and if once all the again the same as Liquid Sky, once all the features are in there, or a lot of the features are in there, yes, the UI can change how some of those features work. I agree with that part, but the amount of time it's going to take to stylize and treat and do all that sort of stuff, I'd rather do later than earlier. Like trying to dress a cake before you've baked it, right? I want to make sure I'm working on something that I really care about, and heading in the right direction. So anyway, let's add that. Let's add ant for what it is. Well, again, once the functionality's in there, then the data's been saved. How it's done on the front end shouldn't actually matter that much. The concept is going to be the same though. So ant design is once design system, but it's, let's see, what's the worst happens. You know, Liquid Sky uses Tailwind. Ant design. It's not perfect, but it will at least allow this. So show the code. For each tag. That naming convention. Okay, so let's go. We've added that. Let's go add in our control. So I'm going to add. Hopefully this takes on some of the styling of what's around it, because I don't want to have these little tiny things. They're not something I want. Kind of like the chunkiness, so we should be able to change most of it. If input visible, handle input confirm, list tags. So I'll figure out the backend piece. Let's figure out the input side of it first, and then we'll. Yeah. So we're doing. Let's just do this and see what happens. Div. We can always create a control separately out of this, right? We can do that. So that's going to be input dot tags. Now we can switch that back over to an enumerable. Avoid it crashing. Input dot tags. If input of it, oh, so this is okay. This is, we want to add a new tag. Okay. Import and design. Yeah, this is prime component territory, right? Because it's merging the concerns all over the place. That's fine. Let's not bother about label right this second. Reference is, so what do? They have a string input ref. Input ref. Why do we have an input ref? for no reason. Okay, I'm not doing that if I don't have to. This is going to be input dot. So I think we have to have an input value. That's an interesting one. Oh, it's set focus in code behind. Okay. Headed for more coffee. Enjoy. Okay, so we need value change. Let's just take these methods and paste them down here for now. Once we get it working, we'll create an actual control. I just brewed some freshly ground coffee. Oh, that reminds me. So as on the point of coffee, I do intend to yeah, I don't intend to just order coffee all the time. I'll leave that up to remind me. Coffee is the soul of Monday morning survival. Absolutely. Yeah. Drink. What's this going to be called? Input value. Bind value. This is going to be. We'll make that tag input. Size. Let's remove that actually. Let's remove all style. And let's make actually that wants to be string.empty, not string.empty. Default that there. Bool tag tag input visible. This will make it by prefixing it there, it'll be a little easier to handle. When I move it to a control. This is one that's definitely. So that's going to be input dot tags. So that has to be a list. Not sure I like the idea there, but that's fine. Value dot value. Can I say not equal to null? No? That'd be awesome. Because the value can be nullable. Let's not worry about it. Let's see what happens. Input dot tags dot remove item. Hold on. So what am I doing? Why are we doing that? What's value change on? Hold on, is value change actually using their code sample? Did I remove that? No, it's not used. Okay. Converting no literal or possible null value to tag import is it's fair enough. Okay, so that should be almost workable. Ugh. Input. If it's null or empty, then cancel import. Return that guard against it. That's fine. Let's try. Again, I'm not trying to pull in very much here. Part of why I use the built-in identity with the links to Twitch for auth is so that I didn't pull in anything like auth 0 like I would in Liquid Sky. I don't want to have you check out this library and then have to go and register an account to deal with anything, to be able to test it or tinker with it or whatever you want to do with it. Right? That's not, if you want to fork it and build your own version that, you know, changes the style, puts in different libraries, you're more than welcome to do that. Right? You want to take this platform and build something off of it, go ahead. But I don't want to force that onto people where they are. Yeah. Cannot provide a value for a component ID generator or ant design tag. There is no registered service of type component ID generator. Okay, now we get into library setup. Seems like too much work to migrate from Bootstrap to Tailwind, honestly, and easy to just use Bootstrap right now. Again, not wanting to. There you go. Configure services, add ant design. That would have been smart to remember that we need startup. Add Razor components, add interactive server, add and design. You know what? I get mocked by an AI. The introduction is okay, but could be smoother. That's funny. Read the documentation. Add namespace in imports. I conflict though. Do I need an ant container everywhere then? That has to be my main layout. Mr. Anhorn, 60s. Oh, my goodness. Thank you very much. Hope you are well. I initially took AI feedback ultra seriously until my revisions resulted in the same output. I think also getting it done with any UI is more worth than using time to rewrite on a different framework just because what feels better, easy to use, what would be the advantage? Yeah. Nice. What am I doing here? Layout, main layout. It wants that in the main layout. No, it wants that in the app. App.razor. Right? Routes. It was in a router. Ah, but this breaks app and routes out separately. This just wants that. And then it wants in imports. Using ant design. Which should fix that, yeah, which fixes that. And then introduced here automatically. If you need to specify, simply add or. So is that saying I just do that and it'll be fine? What is that? Yeah, I was going to say you're going to need a restart now, aren't you? Does this work? Pretty good. Learning the hard way why nobody releases for desktop. So many versions of an app need to be built. Oof. Desktop apps these days. Ouch. As if I was capable of using complicated English. I had extremely bad grades back in school in English most of the time. I'm just happy that you understand what I say. Your, your English is fantastic. Oh no, he's changed the styling. It's changed the styling. At least it didn't change that too much. Unremovable plus new tag. Test. Hey, this works. Sort of. There you go. Unremovable. But I learned how to sign my files, which is pretty cool, and only cost me $9.99 a month. Ooh. Ouch. So, oh, okay. Uh-oh. Dear. Okay, so we can restart it from there. But what is going wrong with this now? Is this... Is it MSI contrast? Nice. I think I know. Think knows how to do that. What are you talking about? Quick Link was available on like 10 operating systems. The build pipelines for it were wild. I only support what Maui supports. Yeah, I wouldn't be building for Windows these days if I had an option. What am I missing here? Is this this messing with me? I move this shouldn't matter at all, should it? Ain't gonna matter one bit. No. Come on. Stop developer stream.web. Almost ready to release. Nice. Why would I not take their JavaScript and import it manually? Specify the style script auto JavaScript initializers. Oh, so that's what that is. That's what the little name thing is. that's giving me the ability to do pre and post stuff. Okay. So with that. So we start that again. Okay. Profile. Okay. New tag. C#. Okay, not the cleanest of Kafka. Okay. I wonder why it says, what's unremovable there? Has it got to have a tag? Is that the problem? Account pages, profile. Because, oh, yeah, that'll help. What? What is updating method within generic type or method requires restarting? There we go. New tag. Why is that unremovable still? Why? Ugh. Okay. I think we start as we mean to go on here. So we have account components, stream components, layout, streamer cards. So do I move add Blazor component with code behind Razor CS? Uh, wrapping a component around a component. It's just there's something amusing about it, but in the same, I can't, in all good conscience, have all that code in there. Dynamic tag. Yep. So we go to account, pages, profile, and then we're going to take this piece, put that in there. We're going to need, so the streamer cards takes streamer DTOs. It's just there's no cascading here. There's just parameters. What? How is there just parameters though? Oh, because I create a streamer query. This is a control unto itself. Dog wants to do things. That's important, can he? May your walk be fun. If you're new to the stream, if you have any questions about what I'm doing, if you have any disagreements with what I'm doing, you're more than welcome to join in. So this is actually a parameter because I want to pull this from the profile. I don't want to. I want to kind of provide the list of. So is this going to be? Well, is this a parameter of some form? public. I want to make that a list. I don't want to make it a list to begin with. I want to make it a. Let's just do it. String tags get set. I think that's right. And then this would be tags, right? We need a boolean for this piece. Private bool get set equals false. It's false by default. Input tag input visible. Input is visible. And then we need a string for the input. Private input. It's going to be input. And then we go back over to, let's close stream of cards profile. And we cut that part out. And we take out all the methods that are tag related. On close. I'm just going to do that for a second. And yeah, so that's input tags.find input. Okay. Why are you complaining? Oh, because I don't have ant design in this one. Hmm. If it was just a self-contained control, that'd be awesome. Example JS interrupt. Awesome. Do I need that? Yeah, parameter. Okay. Oh no, I forgot code spaces are going through maintenance. This will be a fun day, unproductive. Youch. Is the problem with close was a thing. So why is that called on close? Closable, tag closable, on close. What I mean is on remove though. I don't know. Void on close. Item. Tag start. Item. Let's check out my code locally. I've done that for months. It's so weird. One of the things I'm trying to do with Liquid Sky is figure out the development piece. Like, can it be done remotely? Can it be done locally without too much drastic change? I want to host some of the Docker pieces on their own server so that I don't have to keep having Docker set up and whatnot locally, but still have the option to do so if need be. Like, I'm not struggling for resources with it, but I think it is, in the case of the internet is not available to us, having local resources is useful. Especially if I'm traveling or something and I want to do some development. That's cannot always guarantee. So now in profile, what we need to do is add dynamic tags. We'll worry about the labeling and stuff in a second. Just make sure this is dynamic tags. Import controls, and then tags equals import.tags. Is that good enough? Is that? What does that look like? Let's have a look. Yeah, I like doing that for my projects as well. Yeah. So we actually moved the components that are Dockerized for Liquid Sky, all the scripts and stuff I had for bringing up the services. They're now their own repo. And then locally, what I'm going to do is go through all the SQL Server addresses and stuff and change them for an alias. So I'll put an entry in host file, and that way, whether I'm developing locally or remotely, I can just change one address and it'll be fine. Is the idea. Okay. Well, it didn't crash. He says does not have a property name. Why did that work? And then because that's not. Does not have a property name tags. Don't tell me you have to rebuild. There you go. Okay. So my tags control is completely not workable. It's not rendering anything. That does not seem correct. Layout, main layout, body, pages, home, streamer cards, streamer equals streamer. Okay, so that is fine. So why is that not rendering anything? Dynamic tags. Nothing is there. Why do you not work? Kind of relate. The desktop app I'm building is a Blazor hybrid, and I do most of the dev using a browser. Ugh. I don't know. Okay, we can remove these variables, that's for certain. Get rid of that garbage. So is that going to work to bind? Anyway. Oh my goodness me. You changed the code behind, you changed everything, so there we go. Okay. The dynamic tags wasn't showing anything. Something is here. Why is that not showing anything at all? So I thought that too at the beginning. I don't know, I think with Liquid Sky, with what I do for work, etc., I just really I don't like playing in the front end anymore. It's just not fun. And anything involving building client applications is with my first encounter with Workspace is not great. Still trying to develop a workflow, but there are tons of sync issues that happen when using the VS Code extension. I need to learn more about its quirks before it can become something actually useful. Yeah. For work, we use SSH Dev off of out of VS Code. Mojo's actually been tinkering with Control Tower and stuff using SSH and getting things up and running. Actually got things running on an application in SSH seems to be a good option there. But workspaces and stuff, I haven't really dug into. You can. I don't have the brain power. Oh, something is here. Okay, so that is now rendering. Was that because I put something is here, or does that now? Did I just magically fix things by? Don't tell me something has to be changed. So it compiles, so that has to be there. Now I've got to know. Stop running. If I remove something is here, does it still give me this? It should do. It should give me the ability to add some tags. Yeah, remote development in general is an appealing thing, especially from a resource perspective. If I can go and sit in the living room on a low-powered laptop and do the development I would normally do without having the resources running locally, absolutely valuable. I just want to get a refined flow where I can develop locally here, shut this machine down, go and develop remotely, and then come back and develop locally again, and navigate between the desktop and between the machines without really feeling any pain. That would be ideal. Because I have a little, and that's the problem. Co-spaces, yeah. I don't want to. You look at something like developers like this is fine, but if you look at Liquid Sky, that's a lot of stuff. Yeah. Harish, hello, welcome back. Hope you are well. Yeah. So ads may run. I apologize. Okay, so we got our tag. So we can do C#. We can do .NET. Do waffling on about stuff. Okay, can remove .NET. I think that's suitable for now. That gets the point across. So now what we need to do, or what I need to do for this is going to break. This is going to break. What I kind of like to do, can I do this? Well, that's going to go away. Can I do input.tags.join? Will you work without breaking everything? No, you will not, because oh, that is not like that. No, that's not. Thing.join. Input.tags.array. Back when I started at my soon-to-be ex-employer, we had a project where we were upgrading servers and Oracle drivers, but still needed to support the old version, so we all had an EC2 AWS instance to develop on. Man, that machine was fast, especially transferring and downloading data files. Trouble is, it costs $1,000 or so per machine each month I had. Yeah. Yeah, having resources in the cloud is it might be the dream, but it's not the answer. And we don't solve the problem of, like making lightweight client frameworks do a lot of the work, etc. So you're not putting that on the server, but you still need resources at some point. You still need to get difficult things done from time to time, and you can't just do that on low resources. Okay. So what I'm trying to prove is that. That's what I wanted to see. It might have been inferred, but yeah. We may have left them running 24/7 sometimes, just shutting down if we remembered at the weekend. We probably could have gone for lower spec machines. That's a tough one. Okay, there we go. So we have tags. Let's move to the happy place. So what I was proving there is that the tags are being like it's two-way binding. It's not just I feed this in and it is what it is, and then it's managed separately. It is affecting those things. So now when we save our update profile, so our profile service now, our streamer profile service, our update profile is going to take something different. Streamer profile. Take streamer profile. There we go. That means use streamer profile, user ID, name, blurb, channels, and input.tags. That's not quite what we'll need though. That's wrong. That is not what I want to do. Because that's a poor design, right? Because I'm not going to feed this channels. This streamer profile here is the outgoing one, right? This one here, I do not want to use it for input because I do not provide this information. This information, yes, I provide all this information. However, I don't send back this information. This is the act of linking the accounts that does this. So there's no, it would be poor form to just say, oh, well, we're just going to pass an empty right there. Because you just can't, that's not readable. So we're not even going to tackle that. However, I do want to not have ever increasing numbers of parameters here. That's what I was trying to avoid. Public record, streamer update model. This is going to be almost identical, except it's just going to take those three. And enumerable string tags. Update. Yes, not exactly stunning, but it does solve the problem and it does keep that cleaner. If this was an API based thing, that would be an internal object, so it wouldn't really look as messy as this. Because I'd be posting to it with JSON, so it would the fact that I've got C# on both sides of this is going to mess me up a little bit there. But anyway, so now we can pass in our tags into our streamer profile. Our streamer profile service update profile has profile service. It's this version of it. We now have to change our update profile here. This is now a streamer update model. Update. And this is where people start to get into automapper. The irony here is I'm going to create another object that has all the same parameters, but don't forget, I'm going to implement an API version of this same call that's going to make this call. So it's going to work out in the end. It's just, it looks a little bit messier than I want it to do. So in the update user profile, we're going to take our IEnumerable tags. And they're going to be slightly messy. So, what I want to do here, and again, if you have any thoughts, questions, opinions on what I'm doing, please feel free to join in. This is an open source project. The code is available for this if you are interested. He says, as he can't even remember what did I put on this? There we go. I did a thing. Okay, so now in the update profile, what we do is we check to see if the user is existing, because the first time you sign into the site, you don't have a profile. You've not logged in yet. So here, what we're doing is we're creating this profile for the first time, and it works. I know, it's shocking. And now we create this profile for the first time. So the problem here is the tags. No. Here's what we're going to do. We are not going to make that its own thing. We're going to remove this. I'm still going to leave the model in place, but we're going to remove that part. And we're going to remove that part. And we are going to add on the ability to the profile service task update tags GUID identifier GUID identifier IEnumerable string tags. So the reason for this one, I think I can do that. I think that's the right thing to do there. Allow you to not provide a cancellation token is fine. That won't hurt anything. The reason being that the profile is about who you are, and the tags are about your stream. Also, from a responsibility perspective, I want you to be able to capture them. Like, these calls will happen in the same button press, right? When you say update profile. However, I don't want to make them all kind of join together as one big update. What I realized there was, if I was to try and introduce, let's just stub this out. If I was going to try and introduce that update profile and then have the what do you not like? Yeah, fine. And then add the tags in here. Then when I went in here, I'd have had to do all that tag code in here, and it would have made this harder. Now, I'm not doing any unit tests right this second, but right now, as it stands, that's pretty testable. If I add the tags in, it gets a lot messier. There's a few of the instances of Liquid Sky where we have some of this joint behavior that I probably would separate out eventually. So I don't think it's costly to have two calls. So your profile information gets updated and then your tags get updated. They're small, they're to the point, they're not combining multiple things. So they should be it's quicker to do 2 small calls than it is to do 1 larger call that does too much. And that way we can actually, we can compose the system a bit better, and we can describe the system a bit better as well. So yeah, what we're going to do here is register account, update profile. So once we've updated the profile, await profile service dot update tags. This is going to be user state. Get user ID and input dot tags. And we still have no cancellation token, so that's fine. That should actually now provide that ability, so we don't have to specify that. Make that messy. There we go. So now that's what's going to happen. Over here in our application, we got to implement that there. That's fine. Update profile is a streamer update model. Update. You see, this isn't implemented yet. This is just because I'm not using the client side of this yet, and personally, I got to figure out how to test that and verify. Okay, so that's that. Now it wants the implement the missing members. So it wants the update tags method. That's fine. Again, I'll implement this afterwards. I want to figure out how to test that and stuff. Ultimately, it's calling the same code as the server side does. It's just via an API rather than the server. So it's just calling, whereas this does this await sender here, that will do that in the API client and hook that up. So that's just complaining at me now because I've gone and changed that design slightly. Can't live with that one. Yellow squiggled and all. So even though I've only got SonarQube enabled for Liquid Sky, it's enabled in Rider anyway. So let's move this update tags method down to the bottom a bit. And we'll get to that. So updating tags, we go to the application code and let's create update tags for user. No, update tags is clear enough. So again, the command now is focused on this one thing. It doesn't have mixed behavior. User profile doesn't carry with it too much context. The user profile is your name and your description. The tags are the tags. It's easy to describe that way, right? So public record command. There we go. I command. Nope, not Windows input command. Mediator command. Okay. Public class handler. I command handler. And no result required here right this second. There's nothing to do with the result. If it fails, it fails at this point, and there's no real panic about that. So the challenge for this one is the design. Right? So a tag has a label and an attached streamer. The streamer ID is retrieved via, so here we get the streamer by identifier. The problem here is we don't have, so again, single responsibility. I don't like the idea of having multiple repositories inside a single service, but we're going to need the streamer to get the streamer ID, and then we're going to need to go and figure out the tag. So the join here is going to be kind of weird. So we bring in the repository, Streamer repository, and we're going to need an iRepository. Now, what I'm trying to think about here is, do I want label first or do I want tag first? So label is the actual text field and tag is the actual association of that label with that. So I think we want label as our repository, but we can't avoid tags. We get into a different realm here of more behavior, which I prefer to move a lot of chunky behavior like this into a domain service. So this handle just literally passes through to call a domain service. Which at that point you could argue that rather than having the handler at all, you could just call it directly from the service. However, validation and pre-checks on here, whether you need to change stuff, is oftentimes useful. What I'm kind of contemplating right now is so we're going to need a few things, right? So var existing tags. Well, let's just go through it. Let's kind of use it as a kind of a thought dump to a default async. So this is if the streamer, right? So this is this. The streamer exists. If by this point the streamer doesn't exist, which means that previous call hasn't worked and saved that streamer, then that's a problem, right? And actually, we probably should call that user identifier just to make that clearer. So what we're going to do is argument null exception dot throw if null existing. We can't, if that streamer did not save in that previous request and it's not available at this point, then we can't save. We're not going to mess around trying to, oh, well, what if the streamer's not there? Therefore, we'll create it. The assumption is and should be that the streamer will be here. Maybe that gets turned into a result afterwards and gets turned into a return, but I want to see that behavior now. So I'm going to throw an exception. I'm going to make that break the system to start with. We can always improve that later. Okay, so first thing to do is that's the streamer. Var existing tags equals await tag repository dot list async, and this specification will be tags for streamer by ID. So this is a spec. This class is marked as sealed because the design it uses a virtual property for the query, so you can override it in this class. But it advises you seal it at this point so that you don't end up inheriting from an existing spec and changing the parameters in a way you don't understand, because you could mess with or override a parameter potentially by changing the query. So it recommends making it sealed so you don't inherit from this. So this is going to be tag. We're not going to go for single result right now. We don't need a single tag. So this is going to be our, actually can be the ID, right, of the streamer. And the query here is where, well, we want to include tigis t.label and include t goes to t.streamer. Do we need that? I don't think we need streamer. We do need label because we need the actual value, the text value of it. Where s goes to s dot streamer ID equals streamer ID. So I could use this to just go and get it for the streamer. I could join on streamer and reference that, but it would, we can index on the streamer ID to make this much faster. Right now, there's no optimization on the SQL side, but that would be quicker anyway. And again, if the streamer doesn't have a profile at this point, then it's kind of problematic. So we don't even need the join. So this will get me the tags, but it will also include it'll join on the label. So we'll have the value there. So this is a new tags for streamer by ID, and that's going to be streamer.id cancellation token. If existing tags.any, what are you? You are a list, yeah. Then morning Mojo. Put on Twilight. Wow. That's is what you've done. Stayed up all night watching that. I've never seen it before, and I'm still wishing that was true. Don't worry, you're not being judged. Okay. So what we're going to do here is check the incoming tags. A straight up all-nighter. A straight up all-nighter for that as well. That if you'd have said I was, playing a really epic video game, like you'd stayed up all night to crush Baldur's Gate 3 or something like that, right? Okay. But you stayed up all night to crush Twilight Saga. Apex, thank you very much for joining today. I apologize, by the way, if you don't know, Apex is a streamer. More people in. Apex develops games on stream. I've managed to either miss or not be available for the last several, but hopefully I catch you soon. But have a great day, Apex. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, it's easy when you don't have work, isn't it? Dear. No redemption there. Power outage for most of Saturday, so I missed it. Otherwise, enjoy your day. Take care, Apex. Have a great day. See you soon. Okay. This is a add and remove problem, right? So tags may contain some. Okay, I need tags to remove and var tags to add. Right. From about game deving, Godot with C#. Apex is a really chill stream as well. It's a really great place to go and hang out. You just sat, you get to see the doggos from time to time. And it just gets stuff done, and it's a nice chill stream that is good to hang out in. And Yeah. He's doing cool stuff with Godot as well. Like, um, he's building behavior trees and been building them out for a while. So it's quite fascinating to see how that come together. The complexities of things, knowing about things, and then using dependency injection and those concepts in game dev was mind blowing to me. So Apex is well worth checking out. What I'd like to do is when we get this working is be able to say, hey, I want Godot developers. I want, and I have considered, by the way, putting in kind of not a review system, but a promotion system. I haven't really thought through it very much. I'd like to be able to highlight people, and bring people to the forefront because I think a lot of streamers, don't get the attention they deserve. Um, and there's a lot that you can learn from them. So yeah. So this is where I really should try and unit test this just to try and flesh out this idea. Basically, if I have a set of tags, if I've got a list of tags, right? So I have, C Sharp, .NET. Let's say I have them. Let's say I have existing tags of C Sharp and Java, right? Tags to remove would be where existing tags don't exist in the incoming tags, right? Those would be the ones I need to remove. No, no, this is far simpler. We don't even need to do this. We don't need to do this at all, right? The only thing we need to check is does a label exist for the thing that's coming in? If it does, then labels for what I was going to say then is this, we'll assume for now that this list of tags is exactly the list of tags, which means that it just replaces what's there, so we can wipe out what's there if we want to. We can try that path, but we've still got to resolve the IDs for the labels. That's the problem. So if we don't do that, we end up with more work resolving all the IDs of the labels, then figuring out if we have the tags, and then yeah, okay. Hi, the structure of this .NET project, the project is clean architecture. It's close. It's meant to align to clean architecture in some respects. The idea is that for me, this is consistent with what I do on developers in Liquid Sky, so that if you're watching the stream, you're kind of used to seeing the structure. It's close enough that that if anyone has any debates about whether I'm putting something in the right place, that we can have a meaningful discussion about where those things should lie and why I think they should lie in one place versus another. But yeah, having looked at clean architecture enough, there's several different interpretations of what it actually is. So it's clean architecture esque. Yeah. Okay. So we've got to resolve label IDs for the tags that we are passing it. Label IDs for tags. Spec. Let's see if this works. This will be interesting. Specification. Label. As always, we end up with awesome overrides. And this is going to produce a result of int ID string tag. What that does is that highlights that we're going to transform the result. So what we're querying on, the source collection we're querying on, is not going to be what we actually return. So then we create a constructor, and this is going to be an IEnumerable of string tags. So what we're doing here is, if we can, we're matching it against something that's there. There's a better pattern here that I can't see it. String tag int ID. Don't think that's what I want to do, but let's find out. Because that will tell us the ones we need to create. So we're going to get the labels, create the labels, populate this collection, and then work on, then we can remove all tags for, so fun fact, we can use this just as easily for the delete as we can for the query. So we can just go and say, delete all tags for streamer by ID, and then just insert the new ones. I'm not sure I want to do that. I kind of prefer the idea of testing to see if we have some of them and not replacing them outright. Primarily because it's messy to go and delete a lot of stuff, because you just keep incrementing IDs. Every time someone changes a tag, you increment the IDs by, 12 more, because they've got 12 tags attached to them, or they've added a 13th, and now you're incrementing it again. It's not ideal. Putting the differences in there is probably better. Query dot where tags L goes to L dot tags dot contains what select L goes to expression T cannot contain a tuple literal. Yeah. That's fine. I actually don't think that's going to work very well. And actually, that can't be anything but. It can't be anything but an integer, because it's only going to work when the tag contains it. So it's not like I'm getting a combined list here. I'm getting a list of the ones we actually match on, which means that they then got to go and do a further string check later on. So let's try it. Let's see what happens. The matching labels equals await label repository dot list async new label IDs for tag spec, and this is going to take command tags cancellation token. Obviously, this is not going to Is that going to help me? Is that going to help me very much? I think I'm moving too many parts at once here in my brain. Like I'm trying to juggle 3 different problems. So let me get this right. I pass in C#, .NET, and Angular. Down here, we only have created, previously we've created the label C#, right? So this one is going to come out with a list of C# and 1, right? Or a tuple of C# and 1. That's great. Now we need to go and say await tag repository dot delete range async new tags for streamer by ID command dot user identifier. Oh no, we need streamer.id there. Right. That will remove everything that we have. And then if we go through for each var tag in command dot tags, var label ID equals matching labels dot contains dot single default L goes to L dot tag equals tag. Or see, this is where this is going to get really messy. Now we've got to go and create a new label. So yeah, the difference there is var new tag equals new tag so streamer ID equals streamer.id, right? And then if label ID is null, new tag dot label equals new label text equals tag. What's that going to be? That's going to be if label ID. Oh, that's interesting. How can that not be? I don't think this is going to work, by the way. So this is kind of a little bit moot. Oh wow, it's 9:07. Okay, I got carried away there. Everyone just thought it was continuing on today. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. So, not where I wanted to be. I wanted to get the tags in there, but then obviously thinking about the fact that maybe what I'm trying to reconcile is, am I overthinking this because I've modeled this already and I'm trying to commit to the model I've designed? Is it useful to have this disconnected method? Should I just allow every streamer to have a row of a record, like just the tag they want to have, and then provide some sort of, distinct query across the tags for if you want to do a lookup for them. Right now, we're not providing any lookup. All we're trying to do is say, okay, well, we already matched this, so let's not create another record. But we still have to create a record anyway for the tag for the label. So the labels would be a list of available labels, and then tags would be tags. So we could always achieve this through a distinct query. Is that committing me to too much work here? Possibly. So what I was going to do there was, okay, well, if you don't have a label, we didn't match one, then then we attach a new label. Otherwise, we're going to attach the ID of the label we already have, so we don't duplicate. And by doing this, we clear them all out previously, which again, I don't think is a good idea. I think we need to do okay, now go and find the ones where we have tags that match, and identify the ones we need to remove and the ones we need to add. So that'll be Friday's work at this point, but we are moving forward and things are coming along. I'm apologizing for now for the amount I did not get done, but we will get there. So thank you very much for joining me. I will be back tomorrow with the Liquid Sky. Got a bit of a hang up on the deployment of Liquid Sky, the delay in getting some features done that we needed to get done. So that will be probably the focus of tomorrow's stream, getting that over that hump and getting that ready. So we're going to raid Fullbox. Reg, thank you very much for coming and hanging out. Appreciate the view and appreciate you being here. So let's go raid Fullbox today. Fullbox is working on a game jam, the radio game jam by lots of it. I don't know what it's about, but I will be back tomorrow. Thank you very much all. Trap, have a great day. Take care. Thank you for coming, as always. And I'll see you soon. Later all. Bye.